Stop. Don't write another resolution. Don't sign up for that gym membership. Don't even think about your goals yet, because here's the truth. Most people's goals are doomed before they even start. Not because they're lazy, but because they're building on a broken system. You ever notice how the same goals show up on your list year after year? That's not progress. That's deja vu dressed up as self-improvement and calling it motivation. And every time it happens, it chips away at your confidence. So in this video, I'm not going to give you another goal-setting formula. I'm going to show you something nobody talks about. How to actually reset your mind before you set new goals. Because if you skip this step, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle. But if you watch until the end of this video, you'll know exactly why your old goals kept failing and how to fix this for good. And here's where it gets sneaky. Your brain loves recycling old goals because it feels safe. Neuroscientists call this cognitive efficiency, which is your brain's copy and paste function. That's why you find yourself writing the same resolutions every year. It's not because you're broken, it's because your brain is wired to repeat what's familiar, even if familiar didn't work. Now, experts might tell you to set smarter goals, use a better planner, and try this perfect morning routine. But if you're starting from a cluttered mental state, that's like trying to install brand new apps on a phone that is out of storage. Your brain is weighed down by all the unfinished tasks you never closed out. That invisible load is what makes fresh goals collapse so fast. I mean, we've all been there. You buy the journal, that healthy cookbook with all the rave reviews, maybe even new gym shoes. The plan looks perfect, but 2 weeks later, you're wearing sweatpants on the couch, not at the gym, back to ordering takeout from the same spots, and staring at that untouched planner like he's silently mocking you. Relatable, right? The science is clear. If you want real change, you can't just add new goals. You need to create the mental space for those goals to actually survive. And that's the part almost nobody talks about. So stick with me, because in a minute, I'm going to show you the 3 phases of a true mental reset. A system that clears the junk, rewires your focus, and makes setting goals feels less like discipline and more like finally exhaling. You wouldn't try to run a marathon in flip-flops, right? But that's basically what most of us are doing with new goals. We sprint into January carrying last year's baggage and wonder why we trip after the first mile. Science explains this perfectly. There's something called the Zeigarnik effect, which means your brain is terrible at letting go of unfinished tasks. Think of it like background apps on your phone. You don't see them, but they're running and draining your battery. Here's the kicker. Studies on cognitive offloading show that when you write those tasks down, your brain immediately frees up working memory. It's kind of like hitting the close all tabs button. Let me paint a picture here. I had a friend who set the exact same learn Spanish goal 3 years in a row. She would buy a fresh notebook every January, download Duolingo, even announce it to her family. And by February, the notebook was blank. The streak was dead, and she felt worse than before. Why? Because every time she looked at that new notebook, her brain reminded her of her current failure and the old unfinished attempt. That chip at her confidence and the invisible mental clutter weighed more than the goal itself. So here's the fix. Do a mental inbox dump. Write everything down, all of it. The to-dos, the random half-finished projects, even the small annoyances like fix that squeaky drawer. Get it all out with pen and paper, not your notes app. And here's the part people miss. You don't need to solve them all. Just the process of capturing them tricks your brain into thinking, okay, this is handled. I know, it sounds too simple. Really, it's almost silly. And that's exactly why most people skip it. People might ask, how's writing this down going to change my life? But research proves that the act of documenting unfinished tasks reduces the mental load they place on you. It's like clearing your kitchen counter. It hasn't helped you cook the actual meal, but suddenly there is space to cook it. Once you've dumped it all, sort through it. Keep, delete, or park for later. And just like that, you've closed the browser tabs. You've finally made mental space for your new goals to actually run. Plus, a bonus of writing it down is that if you manage to knock one of those tasks off the list, you get a good hit of dopamine too. If this already feels like a breath of fresh air, just imagine what the next 2 phases will do for you. And listen, since this is our very first video, I would love for you to stick around for the journey. If you want practical, science-backed strategies without the fluff, hit that subscribe button. Think of it as your first easy win of the year. 0 effort, instant payoff. Thank you very much. Yes, decluttering gives you space, but space alone isn't enough. If you don't choose what fills that space, the world will do it for you. Instagram, your boss, your family. Suddenly, your new goals aren't really yours at all. This is where most people fall into the trap of what psychologists call extrinsic motivation. It's when your goals are driven by external rewards. Looking impressive, higher status, avoiding judgment, chasing approval. Sure, it works short term, but extrinsic goals are way less sustainable than intrinsic goals. Those are the ones tied to your personal values and internal emotional drivers. Here's a story. A guy I know set a yearly resolution to get shredded. He bought all the supplements, did the crash diets, spent hours, days, weeks, months in the gym, and even paid a small fortune for a personal trainer. But the second beach season was over, he quit. Why? Because the goal wasn't really about him. It was about other people seeing him a certain way. The following year, he shifted it. Instead of getting shredded, he shifted his goal. His intention became to have the energy to play soccer with my kids without wheezing. That shift gave him an emotional anchor that changed everything. He stuck with it, not because of discipline, but because it was meaningful for him and his kids. So here's your calibration exercise. Ask yourself, if nobody could see this goal, would I still want it? It sounds really simple, but it slices through all of the noise fast. If your answer is no, that goal doesn't belong to you. I know the pushback, but what if the goal I think I should want don't actually light me up? That is your signal. Reframe the goal to match the emotion behind it. A promotion might really mean you want more financial freedom, not the fancy title. Weight loss might mean wanting confidence at your wedding, not abs for Instagram. When you connect goals to real feelings, you stop dragging yourself uphill and start being pulled forward. That's emotional calibration. Swapping borrowed shoulds for self-filled wants. And once you do it, your goals stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like reward. Alright, decluttering cleared the clutter. Calibration filled the space with goals that actually belong to you. But there's one more problem. Your brain is addicted to old patterns. Neuroscience shows that nearly half of our daily actions are automatic habits. There's no real thought, just muscle memory. Your brain loves routine because it's efficient. But here's the catch. Efficiency doesn't care if the habit is good or bad for you. It just keeps running the same old script. That's why you need a cognitive reboot. A reboot jolts your system out of autopilot. Psychologists call this context-dependent memory. Your habits are tied to the environment where they were formed and repeated. Change the environment, and suddenly, the habit becomes easier to change. I once worked with someone who wanted to stop her endless late-night snacking. She didn't just try harder, she literally moved her whole evening to a totally different room. Instead of scrolling TikTok on her big, comfy couch, she set up a cozy reading chair in the bedroom and added a cup of lavender chamomile tea. That environmental shift broke the loop because the trigger was gone. The reboot itself doesn't have to be huge. Even small changes like rearranging your desk, moving apps on your phone, or changing the time you shower can create enough of a pattern break to rewire your behavior. It's like hitting refresh on your browser. Suddenly, the system responds differently. And yes, it can feel silly. Wearing a neon wristband, switching your phone wallpaper, rearranging furniture, it does sound trivial. But that's exactly the point. It's not about the object, it's about the cue you receive. Your brain notices the change and thinks, okay, we are in new territory. That's where fresh habits survive. So don't wait for motivation to magically show up. Give your brain a reset ritual, something small but tangible that says, this chapter is new. When your environment shifts, your mind shifts with it. And that's when your goals finally get the space to thrive. Here's the thing. Most people think change starts with discipline, but it doesn't. It starts with clearing the track so you can finally run without carrying last year's weight strapped to your back. And that's the point of the reset. Declutter the junk, calibrate the emotions, reboot the system. 3 shifts that stop your brain from living on repeat and finally give it the space to move forward. Because goals on their own are just words on paper, and that's why so many people feel stuck sprinting with baggage they never dropped. But when you reset first, those same goals feel lighter, sharper, possible. So before you rush to add more to your list, remember this. Real change doesn't begin with piling on, it begins with clearing space. That's when your goals stop being deja vu and start being your future. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.